So Amy, what about poetry? What's the importance of poetry, or how can poetry be used to help students build their language arts skills?
Okay, this is so funny because my students laugh at me because I tell them I love this. Like, I love grammar and I love vocabulary. And they're like, Miss Wallace, you love everything about words. And I'm like, yes, yes, I do. But I love poetry because poetry is one of the few things, whether you're teaching or whether I'm teaching grammar or I'm teaching novel writing, poetry is one of the few mediums of communication that really forces us to think about observational skills. It forces us, as we study it, to really think deeply about how each word has a power of its own, and then how we put those words together. Poetry is such an incredible way of teaching students how to paint pictures with words, how to understand just how vital every single word we choose is to the idea we're trying to communicate. Plus, I think poetry's fun. I love reading it, I love the emotion behind it, and I love encouraging students to really just see the passion and power that we can use in the words we choose.
Well, I do teach poetry in my classes as well. I learned that April is National Poetry Month, and so I actually end the year with my unit on poetry. And I love how when students discover that, hey, I can actually write a poem that's really good. I remember last year I had a student that just really struggled with writing, all year. Writing was really hard for him. And then we got to the poetry unit, and he wrote like the coolest free verse poem that I probably have ever read, written by a bunch of kids. So, I know sometimes kids are like, it's all about rhyming words, but it's not. And so when you see a student get excited about it, it's really cool. So I like to just challenge students to realize, hey, don't have a bad attitude about poetry until you give it a try. And there's just so many different kinds of poems out there that, maybe you don't like the rhyming poetry, but maybe you love free verse, or, vice versa. Maybe free verse isn't for you, but you love the rhyming part. So there's just so many different ways you can write poems. So hopefully my students are having fun with it. We're doing it right now. So.
No, I love it. I remember my mom had us do poetry when I was in her English class, and I wrote a 3-page ballad, and my friend wrote a haiku. And now we got the same grade.
Oh, that would be frustrating.
I don't think I wrote a very good ballad, so that's